you will need superpowers. The only way to make the world a better and safer place is to ensure real, functional, and meaningful education, helping humanity grow in knowledge and wisdom, and creating a more intellectual global culture. The people that run the world want war. They want money, and they want glory. They will never fight, work, learn, or deserve their medals. Their positions of prestige have been bought, stolen, or just passed down, and they see you as a tool to get what they want. They have no heart, no soul. Without superpowers, you will be pushed along, processed, and spent. With superpowers, your generation can stop the machine powered by arrogance, stupidity, opportunists, greed, half measures, and ghouls hopped up on antidepressants and drugs they were not supposed to mix. The greatest weapon of the madman has already made its impression on you. It has already gotten to you. You were tricked into thinking that knowledge consists of subjects that merely require 45 minutes of your time, and that if you ingest a proper daily mix and take a test afterwards, you will receive your knowledge and a diploma, hopefully go around the draft, and become a doctor or a lawyer. But that is not how any of this works at all. Only a medley of incompetent, short-sighted madmen could come up with something as stupid. Know that the superpowers are a prototype for a new school format. This is the greatest challenge of your generation. It is a self-reinforcing education system with its own validation scheme that keeps the teachers and their fraud out. The superpower of love of wisdom, or philosophy. You must adventure monthly, and you must take your adventures seriously. Camping and hiking is the only fast and reliable way to get at your intellectual inheritance. Your inheritance is stored at libraries around the world in the shape of the most powerful narrated books written by clear-thinking intellectuals. This is the greatest and most important subject. May you spend ages under the stars. The superpower of art, or painting. None of your classes are very effective, so take art as soon as you can and listen carefully to your empty-headed teacher. As she babbles about learning hand-eye coordination, which is the last thing that comes to you as an artist that you never have to learn, watch the screen projector over her head. That simple machine is how you become a painter. You project your image on a canvas and study the color and shape as you manipulate it in a photo editing program. One of the reasons that you must go through this is to see how ineffective education works. Real knowledge is near. It is just completely abandoned in arrogance and ignorance. Fraudulent teachers are not your happy, smiley friends. They are destroying education, and they have sold you out for a paycheck. The superpower of music, or becoming a composer. Find a free beat sequencer like LMMS and learn how to use Mix, spelled MIXXX, also an open source program. Music theory is something you learn last. Begin by composing by ear, the way it has always been done. Music theory is just a protocol for connecting to other songs and artists. You compose by ear and by algorithm. Here is the first time you are fully exposed to the need for programming. Once you learn how to use a beat sequencer and piano roll, programming will encourage you to cut out the graphic user interface and code your music live. You should use JavaScript, a language that will help you into the C family of programming languages. But Sonic Pi is the best example of what live coding music is all about. The superpower of sculpting your dreams, or becoming a 3D modeler. Here you are also asked to return once you learn programming so that you can do procedural sculpting by simply coding your models. But first, your aim must be 3D printing. This area of 3D modeling is called precision modeling, and the program you learn is Blender. Blender is also free and open source, so this won't cost you anything at all. Do not let geometry nodes intimidate you. Visual programming languages are the user interfaces of the future. Embrace them, and as you learn programming, code your own visual programming language. Finally, to keep the list short, the superpower of interfacing with technology, or becoming a programmer and a creative hacker. Use JavaScript. The strength of a language is not purely about its speed or what old people say. It's primarily about its age, adoption, and longevity. JavaScript is special because of what TypeScript is mistakenly trying to fix. It does not slow you down with declaring your variable types. Please understand that you don't need intelligent code editors and smart syntax. The first thing you code is a high-level visual programming language that puts you and your work into a higher generation of programming languages. The visual programming languages mostly eliminate the need for code completion and even AI meddling. Your VPL should control abstract syntax trees the same way that Blender is shaping geometry nodes, and simply generate code that is indistinguishable from what is written by a good programmer. You can generate more JavaScript or C, C++, or any of the less permanent languages. For everything else, you program simulations. Let me make that clear. When studying computer security and approaching the OSI and TCP/IP models, you do not memorize the layers. You simply program something that has a similar architecture, something useful, and learn about the different models and layers from there. Do not memorize. You always have access to the manual. You should always program a simulation or your own version. Same goes for learning about everything else, including mitochondria. You don't memorize that it is the power of the cell. That's one of the most embarrassing things you can say. You simulate a cell with the mitochondria and with RNA and DNA strands and cell division. And maybe you employ AI to further expand the system. Einstein was just being small-minded when he said, if you can't explain it simply, you haven't learned it well enough. As you can see from what happens to the world leaders and teachers when they are left to their own devices, there are no simple explanations. Our world is a world of complexity. Please, become an athlete and follow your noblest curiosities to discover your own personal superpowers. And I will leave you with the correct saying. If you can't make it come alive by programming it, then you must continue your research.